2. Hi, I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. My partner Kristen Oaks-white will join us a little bit later in the show. Corn is a staple crop grown in Louisiana. According to the USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service, Louisiana farmers harvested 680,000 acres of corn in 2023. However, as TWILA's Neil Melancon tells us, a number of issues may cause a big reduction in acreage this year.
David Smith is measuring out 1/1000th of an acre in his field. He's got 500 acres of corn this year. Smith considers himself lucky because he's got a market for all of it.
I do have a market right here in town. I can go 5 minutes away and sell every bushel we have. It's a good deal for us, a good deal for the feed mill, and that's really corn and milo is all going to local, and that's one reason we do plant.
These sprouts of corn are less than 24 hours old. This year, the LSU Ag Center predicts 20% less of them in Louisiana.
The price is down from corn compared to last year. The inputs are slightly less, not what it should be for what the corn prices are, but looking for this year, the farmer's a perpetual optimist. You know, last year we were really hammered with the droughts over here.
It's a problem that's going to be across the region this year. David's seed dealer Wayne Delaney says the drought last year combined with lower commodity prices points to a huge shift in acreage this year.
Corn acres are either going to, most of them are probably going into either cotton or beans for the most part. Especially you get north of here, you know, bean yields have been extremely well. You know, guys are just accustomed cutting 80 bushel soybeans, but now even with the price of soybeans where they are, it's just barely getting by.
David is spreading out some of his risk this year with soybeans, milo, and wheat acres as well. He says unlike last year, the weather has been kind to his wheat so far.
We still have a ways to go. We have put more inputs. We're kind of fine-tuning what we're going to do to the wheat crop this year and not treat it as a second-hand crop as it can be treated in our area. I'm looking forward to a pretty decent wheat crop, you know, if everything goes as planned.
As you can see from the field behind me, this spring is off to a strong start with mild weather as well as a good-looking wheat crop and a corn planting that's going along just fine right now. However, after last year's heat and drought, many farmers like David Smith are concerned about a repeat from last year. They're hoping for better times ahead. Reporting from Beauregard Parish, I'm Neil Melancon.
The one good thing about reduced production this year is cheaper feed for cattle. The U.S. livestock herd is at its lowest level in more than 60 years. Cheaper feed prices might help kickstart retaining cattle. That in turn might help keep prices down at the grocery store in the long run. After 2 weeks of deadly wildfires ravaged the Texas Panhandle and parts of Oklahoma, the talk of recovering and rebuilding is just beginning, and Louisiana Farm Bureau is helping out. Dubbed the Smokehouse Creek Fire, the largest wildfire in Texas history, burned more than 1 million acres, killed one person and thousands of head of cattle. Both the Texas Farm Bureau and Oklahoma Farm Bureau have each set up relief funds to help rebuild homes and fences for ranchers and farmers.
Historically, Texas and Oklahoma both have always helped us during our floods, our hurricanes, you know, and all that. So we're just, as an agricultural community, we're giving back. We're helping our fellow ranchers. They might not be our neighbors down the road, but they are our neighbors, you know, next door.
We have information posted right now on how to donate to both of those relief funds. The link is posted on our website at twilatv.org. Meanwhile, Tri-Parish Co-op in Slaughter, Louisiana is also collecting monetary donations. You can drop by the store and make a donation. Tri-Parish will send a truckload of protein tubs to the Texas Panhandle next week to get help to those ranchers now. We'll have more on that in the coming weeks. Research and extension, those are cornerstones of a great land-grant university system. Louisiana farmers and ranchers benefit daily from the research work done at the LSU Ag Center as well as other universities across the state. TWILA's Karl Wiggers brings us along for the 2024 Louisiana Farm Bureau Livestock Advisory Committee Beef Tour, where a visit to the University of Florida was a key part of the trip.
Looking at these fields, you would never know these farmers and ranchers are in the middle of Gainesville, Florida. These cattle are part of the beef teaching unit at the University of Florida. Dr. Todd Thrift is the director of the Brahman Project, a program giving students hands-on, practical skills that they will use in the real world.
Wherever they go, they need to be comfortable with their skill set and very at ease with all the things that we do on a normal basis on a cattle operation.
Amelia Kent knows the value of those skills with her cattle in Kentwood, Louisiana. Kent is the chair of the Louisiana Farm Bureau Livestock Advisory Committee. She's excited this group from Louisiana is going back to school to learn how the University of Florida is supporting the cattle industry.
We've spent a lot more time and attention on the university systems and research and extension on this trip than we've ever done before. We have LSU Ag Center personnel with us. I'm elated that they get to see some of this.
Lee Falk is one of those from the LSU Ag Center on this trip. He works at the Hill Farm Research Station as an extension specialist focusing on beef.
I think trips like this are a great opportunity, not only for producers, but also for those of us in academia. I work for LSU to get out and see how other land grants are conducting business and how they're servicing producers in their states.
And I very much enjoy talking to people from different parts of the country and visiting with them about what they do and what's going on their operations, and maybe they can pick up a little bit of stuff here they can take back, and sometimes I'll pick up a little stuff from them that makes me think.
Falk is impressed with the program here in Florida and the relationships they have fostered with producers.
These units within Florida and within their land grant university system here address those needs and concerns. It's really an invaluable source of information, research, education, and teaching to the ag producers within the state.
One thing Thrift is proud of is this facility, located just off of campus in the middle of a very residential area. That means these cattle are seen by many more eyes than the students here, but those who walk and drive by this valuable piece of real estate.
They could put houses there and apartments. It's worth a fortune, and it certainly is. But it's worth a fortune to our students. This is their chemistry lab. It just so happened we have cows instead of beakers. And it's worth a fortune to the community because everybody needs to know where their food comes from. It doesn't come from Publix. It's a lot more intricate chain than that. And I think having this here in town, having it open to so many different events and things like that has been a big deal for not only the Department of Animal Science, but IFAS as well.
Reporting from Gainesville, Florida, I'm Karl Wiggers for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Next week, we'll have more from the beef tour, taking a closer look at one of the ranches the group visited that expanded its sales by looking for customers closer to home. There are more than 1,000 bills the Louisiana legislature will consider during its regular legislative session. Some of them do involve agriculture. The session began March 11th with Governor Jeff Landry addressing a joint session of the legislature. While education, insurance reform, and a possible constitutional convention are tops of his agenda, Louisiana Farm Bureau is tracking bills that deal directly with farmers and ranchers. The legislature has already gotten together twice this year for special sessions. This regular session must wrap up by June 3rd. Folks in the more rural parts of the state should soon start to see more broadband as a $1.3 billion federal grant is divvied up. Louisiana received the 8th largest allocation of federal grants that will bring high-speed internet to the farthest areas of the state. Louisiana has already received hundreds of millions of dollars for broadband access under other federal grants.
Under Governor Landry this year, not only will we obligate the largest amount of dollars, which is $1.35 billion coming from the infrastructure bill, but it's going to impact the greatest number of Louisianians, 500,000 Louisianians, within the shortest period of time, within the next 6 to 8 months.
The state has until the end of 2028 to spend those funds. Some of us may have only packed up our heavy jackets this week, and it might be already time to get those short pants out, right? It's short pants weather. It could be a promising week across the state for those farmers starting to plant. Nick Mikulas joins us now with this week's Farmers Forecast. Nick?
Thanks, Avery. It looks like the rain is going to get out of here early in the week, and then cooler air returns with overnight lows possibly down in the 30s across parts of the state, maybe even a little patchy frost. Rain returns late in the week, and that means we are going to see some drought improvement across Louisiana. And we still do have that moderate drought across parts of the central part of the state. Here's what we've seen in the last 30 days. Now, it's a big range across the state with more than normal rain in New Orleans, down to 23% of what we typically see for the past 30 days around Lake Charles. Alexandria, 64%, and you can see your area right there. It looks like we're going to see this all improve, and even in the areas where we have seen a little bit more rainfall than we typically see, we could still use a little bit. Drought monitor showing that we had a moderate drought in the area across the central part of the state, and it looks like that is going to be helped over the next few days. Here over the middle of the week and toward the weekend, above normal precipitation. Now this is keying in on that Friday into Saturday event that looks like it's going to move through the state, could bring some decent rainfall totals. And as I said, we are going to see some below normal temperatures. Now the outlook for the rest of March looks pretty wet here, with above normal precipitation likely across the state and across most of the southeast. So maybe as you head out west, we get slightly lower totals, and as you head to the east, we get a little bit more. Temperature outlook pretty chilly through the midweek into the weekend, and then we will start to warm up as we get more moisture back into the area. As usual, if you have any questions, you can send them to me at nick@cenlawweather.com, and I will get you as updated as I can and answer whatever I can to help you along the way. Back to you, Avery.
Thanks, Nick. There are now 3 more members of the Louisiana Agriculture Hall of Distinction. The Louisiana Radio Network, in partnership with the LSU Ag Center, Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry, and Louisiana Farm Bureau, recognized this year's inductees at LaBerge Casino Resort in Baton Rouge. Those inductees are Louisiana Secretary of Health, Dr. Ralph Abraham, crop consultant and retired LSU Ag Center weed specialist Steve Crawford, and Southern University Ag Center Chancellor Emeritus Dr. Leodry Williams.
The Louisiana Radio Network and the Farm Bureau Federation, the Department of Ag, and the LSU Ag Center are fully cognizant of the contributions of the agriculture industry, which is the largest in our state, and I don't think the industry gets its just due. So this is a signature event that I think everybody looks forward to, and you could tell by the reaction from the inductees that this is a really big deal.
Again, congratulations to all of the new inductees. Plans are already underway for next year's Louisiana Agriculture Hall of Distinction induction ceremony. That date is set for March 6th, 2025. We'll let you know when you can begin to submit those nominations. Before we go to break, a quick check of crawfish prices around the state. In Monroe, you can find a pound of live crawfish for $5.50 a pound. Boiled crawfish will run you about $7 a pound. Heading down I-20, you can get live crawfish for $4.95 a pound at Crawfish Palace in Shreveport. Hey, you want them boiled? They've got them there for $7.95 a pound. Here in the capital city of Baton Rouge, the cheapest crawfish are at Rouse's Market on Florida. They're $3.96 a pound for live and $4.99 a pound boiled. Now make sure wherever you're getting your crawfish to do 2 things. 1, check those prices before you go buy them. They change at least every week. And 2, make sure you're getting Louisiana crawfish, which is why the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board reminds you to always ask before you eat. Still to come on TWILA, Kristen Oaks-white takes us to Mo, Louisiana, where this farm is taking beef straight from the pasture to the plate. Stay with us.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
Welcome to Feasting on Agriculture. I'm Kristen Oaks-white, and today we're in Mo, Louisiana at Crescent Bar F Ranch, where they're raising a premium product from start to finish.
Feasting on Agriculture is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Joining me now is Mr. Raymond Fontenot with Crescent Bar F Ranch LLC, and you have not just a strictly grass-fed operation, you've got also grain-fed. Tell me a little bit about your cattle operation here, how many cattle you run, so on and so on.
Okay, we have a base cow herd of 150 cows, and we're supplying beef to a premium steak program that uses corn-fed beef. These cattle will go into a backgrounder in Texas. We'll bring them in a couple of months, and they go to a feedlot in Hereford, Texas, and they end up in a high-end steak program. We've also carved out some cattle to go into farm to table, produce right here on the farm, finish right here on the farm on grass, and we're dealing with restaurants and direct-to-consumer sales for these cattle. The thing that's unique about our cattle is that we've got some really high-end genetics, Angus genetics, that have proven in the feedlot and now on grass. We've graded 100% choice or better on corn. 33% of that was prime on the last load last year. This year, here on the farm on grass, we're consistently hitting choice and even prime on grass alone. And I sent you some pictures of the meat. It just shows the quality of the beef that we're producing here.
Raising cattle is more of a science for you because you mentioned the genetics, the grass, growing the grass, and all you do to maintain forage for these animals. How much of that do you think goes into your final product?
It's absolutely imperative. You know, you can have great genetics and poor forages and you never get to a premium product. Or you can have great forages and inferior genetics and never get to a premium product. What we're doing, we've got the best of both. And we're consistently hitting high-end choice or better on these carcasses. So it's a science, it's a studied science, it's something I'm passionate about. I go to all the LSU Ag Center functions. We're certified advanced master farmer through the LSU program. Master cattleman. We're master farmer through the NRCS, which embraces the natural resource aspects and sustainability, aspects of farming. So there's a lot of science in it, and we study it. We stay at the upper end of the learning curve, and proof's in the pudding.
From start to finish, most of these cattle never leave your hand.
That's the beauty of doing the direct-to-consumer grass-fed aspect of it. Louisiana is unique in that we can grow grass like you're seeing here on the farm year-round. We literally graze cattle 365 days a year. So you never have to take the cattle off the farm in a grass finish program. So start to finish, these are some newborn calves here, and there's some finished cattle over here. They never leave the farm, and when they do leave the farm, it's under my control.
When we come back, we're going to head to Washington, Louisiana to Steamboat Warehouse, where Chef Jason Huguet is going to grill up some of this delicious beef. Stay with us. We're back in St. Landry Parish in Washington, Louisiana at the beautiful Steamboat Warehouse restaurant. We're going to head into the kitchen with Chef Jason Huguet, where he's going to prepare some of this grass-fed beef in a delicious entree. Okay, Jason, so we've got New York strips that we're going to prepare, and you're going to show me the signature way that you do this in the restaurant.
Yes, ma'am. That's how we would do it over here at the restaurant.
Okay.
So I'm going to take some olive oil. I'm going to put a little bit in there. We've got a hot pan.
Okay.
So you want to add your onions. And we want to caramelize these a little bit. So we're going to do a little, pretty high heat.
You can give me a spatula or whatever, and I can help you. Or you don't even need one. Oh,
no, not really. So
you do it the true chef way.
That's it. So it's simple. So we're going to do the caramelized onions first. We're going to add some mushrooms to that in a minute.
Okay.
Today our New York strip. It's a beautiful piece from Mr. Raymond
Wow, yeah.
And so we season it today with our house seasoning we make here. Gonna come over here. Gonna put a little basin butter on it.
That's the trick.
I treat these just like I treat any other steak I cook over here.
Okay. You would cook it the exact same way that you would do grain fed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I've heard people say you gotta treat it differently.
You haven't found that?
No, I would like somebody to explain that to me because I don't know how. I really don't. Like I said, we've never had any issues with this meat over here at the restaurant. And we serve it all the time. It's not available every day because we put it on special.
I was about to say, you mentioned that it was in high demand.
Yes, high demand. The tenderloin, everybody likes a filet.
Right.
So when we do the tenderloins, when I get them from him and I put them on special, they don't last. I mean, I'll sell them all in one night.
Okay.
Yes, our onions are getting caramelized. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, to get a little. I like to baste it every now and then just to keep it moist.
And there's nothing like good grill marks, in my opinion.
Some diamond grill marks is the best. Now I'm going to take some of these mushrooms right here. Put those in here. Cut these up just a few minutes ago.
Nice.
Very simple. What I'm going to do is take a little bit of more of our seasoning. You want to season. Grass-fed has such great flavor. I tried, like we talked about earlier, let the meat speak for itself. You know, you can put all these sauces on it, rosemary demi-glace, you can put a herb cream sauce, things like that. I don't want to mask the flavor of the steak. That's why we season it very simply. And also, I think my favorite sauce to go with this would be a béarnaise sauce.
Yeah.
Or something simple that I actually complement it. It doesn't like overpower the flavor of the beef. All right, so our steak's about ready to go. I'm gonna just put a little bit of coarse ground black pepper. The reason why I love this so much is because
that's a little trick I've never seen.
You get a little
bite,
snap of black pepper in your mouth with every bite. So we're gonna plate up, take our mushrooms and onions. And see this stuff right here is just something I can eat that for an entree. All right, we're gonna place our beautiful grass-fed New York strip.
I'm telling you, that's Michelin chef worthy.
You tell me how you feel about it.
We've got a beautiful spread, compliments of Mr. Jason from Steamboat Warehouse. Thank you so much for preparing this dish for us. It looks lovely. Thank you to Raymond for providing the beef. It's excellent looking. Thank you for welcoming us to your farm. If you want to learn more about Steamboat Warehouse or Crescent Bar F Ranch, we put a link on our website. But until then, we're going to dig in and see how these dishes taste because I can't wait.
Feasting on Agriculture was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
If you're hungry for more of Raymond's grass-fed beef, you're in luck. Next week, Kristen will bring us more from her visit to Crescent Bar F Ranch and Steamboat Warehouse in the second part of this Feasting on Agriculture. Until then, you can learn more about their beef and restaurant by visiting our website at twilatv.org. Before we go, we know that Valentine's Day was more than a month ago, but we want to recognize the romantics of this world, the chivalrous men, the caring women, the obsessive rooster. Every morning, this rooster wakes up his mom to be let out to the hen house because there's one special Goyle in his life. Margaret and Steve are basically inseparable on this Ontario farm. The two go on strolls together, and Steve even picks out food to give to her. We could all learn to be a little more like Steve. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll see how, after a trip to Washington, D.C., Louisiana farmers are seeing some possible relief when it comes to farm labor. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you'll find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications, that way you know when we put out something new. For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.